Good afternoon, students. Welcome to Agricultural Education 2. My name is Abraham Sholongela. And to welcome you to the course or to the subject, I would like to say welcome to Agricultural Education 2. I wish you all to be hardworking, dedicated, and self-driven students in this course. This presentation covers the subject content in brief and some general guidelines that I want everyone to keep in mind when preparing for the August 2017 examination. To give you a bit of introductions about this course, I will discuss some of the content of your study guide in order to help you prepare for the coming exam. But now you should have a good idea what the subject is about as you have completed an assignment. Please note that I cannot give attention to the whole content. So should you have any questions, please contact me for help. My contact information is on the screen right there. My mobile number is 081 44 38360, or you can contact me through my email address, which is asholongela@unam.na. To continue, the following presentation will highlight some important aspects and units of this module. I would like you to use the study guide to prepare for examination. Let us start with some of the important topics that we have to discuss in this course. I would like us to look at the analysis of the food production and economic role of agriculture in Namibia by looking at various ways in which agriculture provides for the people. The way in which agriculture provides for the people are, for example, we have got through productions of the staple food being pure millet, such as mahangu, in most parts of the northern communal areas, and also maize in the Zambezi region of Namibia. Namibia is a cattle country and has per capita number of animals of 1:1 ratio, providing meat and milk for subsistence. It is estimated that livestock contributes up to 12% of the gross domestic product, and about 70% of the people in the rural areas depend on livestock for their food or for their income and also livelihoods. During the dry season and in drought times, livestock is a type of insurance that provides resilience against drought and other shocks, and also serve as a source of savings as the breed the farmers keeps are drought tolerant. There are also various ways in which agriculture can provide for animals, such as the use of fodders and crop residues to feed animals. Let us also look at the list of ways people can earn money through agricultural productions. There are various ways people can earn money through agriculture, and these ways are, for example, producing crops like pure millet or mahangu, even maize, such as that the quantities are more than they need for their own consumptions, from one harvest to the next. Now they can sell the surplus grains when the farmers produce more than they're supposed to, or more than expected. So the surplus, the farmers can sell it in order for them to generate an income. Producing more milk than they need for family consumptions, and hence also they can also sell the surplus. Producing more animals, such as that they can also sell some to cattle auctioneers or to butcheries or abattoirs. Farmers can also produce a lot of eggs, which they can also sell, even also through producing pelt or fiber or more hair and hides for sale. Farmers can also do that also through selling manure to other farmers, or selling fertilizers to other farmers, or even selling animal feeds, for example, the animal fodders or hays, to other farmers as well. Selling agricultural machineries, for example, the tractors or the plowers or even the combine harvesters to other farmers. Selling agricultural chemicals, such as the herbicide or the pesticides, insecticides. So this one also, the farmers can also generate income, or they can also earn money through selling such chemicals to other farmers. I also want you to understand how agriculture productions can be improved in Namibia. And this, I want you to go through your study guide on page 6 to 7 by producing, and I also want you to know that, okay, farmers can also, I want you to understand that farmers can also earn money by producing enough and better quality food. And I also want you to understand what customers want or demanding, and also through the use of technology, etc. Then the aspects of productions in agriculture, how land and water pollutions affect agricultural productions, chemicals and waste caused by land pollutions seep into the ground. As the chemicals and waste make their way down, they pollute the precious groundwater, lessening the amount of usable water available. Land and water pollution generates negative environmental externalities or disservices, primarily represented by the following. Land use change due to productivity falling to too low levels. Even the land degradations as a result of diminished land that is usable. Excess water use from certain localities because other water bodies have been polluted. Nutrients loads, especially of harmful heavy metals that affect animals and even plants. Competitions for food between animals and humans. Emissions of greenhouse gases that result in extreme weather patterns like flooding in the northern communal areas of Namibia, droughts also in the southern regions of Namibia, and high temperatures. Also read more on the effect of water pollutions on the land and how land and water pollution affect agribusiness and people's income from your study guide. So this is a very an important subject, and I want you to go through your study guide and please have a look at this subject and read more on the effect of water pollutions on the land and how land and water pollution affect agro-business and the people's income. Aspects of productions in agriculture. We are continuing with that aspect. Livestock farmers need to keep the following records for legal and economic reasons. I want you to understand that farmers need to keep. There are records that farmers need to keep for legal and economic reasons. For example, the farmers or the livestock farmers, they need to keep the records that have the number of animals, for example, the number of animals on the farms, and also the actual owners, and also brand identification marks. Records on the occurrences of diseases, especially notifiable diseases. Herd health programs, for example, on dipping, spraying, vaccinations, and dosings. Farmers also need to keep records on the number of animals that were sold, when the animal was sold, and to whom that animal was sold. Animals' movements and proof of permits to move the animals, such record also should be kept on the farm for legals and also for economic importance. Let us also look at how to use the board effectively during the lessons. It's also one of the subjects that I want you to look at, how to use the board effectively during the lessons. Learners value the blackboard very much. So they always take interest in what the teacher writes on the blackboard. In many ways, the blackboard inspires the minds of the learner and shapes their future. So the teacher must use the blackboard wisely and effectively. I would like you to read more on the effective use of the board from your study guides also. So on your study guides, there are also, it is been highlighted there in your study guides on the effective use of the board and how to use the board wisely and effectively. So go there on your study guide and read more on this topic. Now let us also look at the aspect of vegetables productions and marketing, more especially on how to choose a particular place for growing vegetables. The following factors may be considered when choosing the site for growing vegetables. For example, when choosing the site for growing vegetables, you need to take in considerations the sunlight. So that the site must be exposed or should have access to sunlight. As we know that sunlight, as we have already learned also in previous module, which is your agriculture education 1, that light is very much essential for the plant growth. So make sure that when you are choosing the site for growing vegetables, so there must be sufficient light on that site. And then also one factor is water and the drainage. On the site there must be adequate water available also, as you know that water is also one of the essential, very important, is essential for plant growth. So vegetables or even plants cannot grow without water. Soil or chemical composition should be also one of the factors to consider. As we know also, the soil composition itself, the texture of the soil, even the chemicals, because some soils are not suitable for growing vegetables. Some of the soils have acid, which can even burn the plants or the vegetables. Adequate securities and accessibility. That means the site that you choose, before you choose also the site, you have to consider the security or the security purpose, and also the accessibility means also the site must be accessible even for the marketing. Understand more about these factors from your study guide. They are being listed there and they are also being explained into more details. So I urge you, please go through your study guide and read more about these factors that one has to consider when choosing the site for growing vegetables. Aspect of poultry productions and marketing. Now, comparing the different types of poultry breeds in terms of adaptability and production. In Namibia, we have 3 types of poultry breeds that are found, and these are the indigenous chicken breed, which normally have a lower growth rate and mature body weight as compared to the exotic chicken breed, which are reared on commercial basis but with expensive protein supplementation. And then another one, we have a crossbreed, or sometimes known as the local adapted breed, which is also looking at the indigenous chickens. So indigenous chickens, mostly they survive on scavenging resources, which include kitchen leftovers, or even worms, or ants, or grass seeds, insects, and whatever they can find in the surroundings with little or no feed supplementation. They are more adapted to the local environments in that they can survive on poor quality feed, they can survive on less feed, they are also more heat resistant, They are resistant to local diseases. They can survive with little or no proper housing. So these are the indigenous chickens or local chickens. On the other hand, the exotic breed grow very fast, but they are not well adapted to higher temperatures. And they need expensive nutritional supplementation and veterinary care as well as housing. Just to say that it's a bit expensive to take care of or to look after the exotic breeds compared to the indigenous chicken. The locally adapted are crosses between the indigenous and the exotics. They are therefore more productive than the indigenous types and also more resistant to harsh conditions and diseases than the exotic types. Why poultry need good housings or shelter? Chickens need good and safe housing so that it is easy to control temperature, especially in the brooding area. Temperature fluctuations are detrimental to the survival of the chickens. Good clean housings help to control diseases and parasites. Good housings block strong winds and dust from affecting the chickens. As you know that wind sometimes can also even carry diseases or can even contaminate the housings. That's why good housings, if the chicken poultry is of good quality, then that can block also the strong winds and the dust from affecting the chickens. Good housings keep chickens safe from predators like snakes, dogs, etc. Good housings keeps chickens safe from thieves. Normally, well-constructed poultry houses are easy to clean, and this is helpful in preventing disease. Let us also look at the aspect of financial management, why it is a good practice to save money in personal or business ventures. Whenever you have money, the tendency is to spend it on non-wealth creating goods. And once you do that, you are consuming. You are not saving, but you are consuming. Your expenditure is consumptive. But if you look closely at the consumptions you have done, you can easily see that you could have forgone that kind of expenditure and saved the money in a bank account. Business are very expensive to start, and you can only get startup money by saving. Instead of even to borrow a loan in order to start a business, it's better to have a saving, and then you can get money from your saving in order to start up a business. The good thing about saving is that if you come across someone who has been saving like you can put your resources together and invest as a partnership. Ways to save money in personal or business ventures. Most of the time, saving is a sacrifice. Why is it a sacrifice? It's because you have to forbid yourself some certain things, or you have to keep yourself away from or to spend on some unnecessary expenses. You might want to buy a car, but instead of buying a car, you decide to save. That's why it's a sacrifice sometimes. So the first step in embarking on saving money is to commit yourself to foregoing certain expenditures. As I've said, it's a sacrifice. So it's not an easy part to do or an easy practice. You can open a saving account with a bank and decide how much money you will be putting in that account every month. Once you do that, you must adhere to the sacrifice by treating it as a necessary recurring expense. You can also save by buying shares of companies which are listed on the stock exchange. Bear in mind that when you invest in stocks, you can only get dividends annually when the company makes money or through selling your shares. So be clear about which stock to buy. Banks have other instruments they always advertise for people to save their money in. Now I also want you to take you through on how to prepare for your exam. Ensure that we have all the study materials or resources required for these modules. The first thing is your study guide. Make sure that you have your study guides. So if you don't have one, so feel free to contact me. Please ensure that you spend enough time reading the prescribed materials and to follow the instructions carefully so as to ensure that you do not waste unnecessary time and effort. Take time to first acquaint yourself with the contents of the modules by reading through the materials carefully. Make sure you understand the verbs used very well. For examples, the verbs such as define, clarify, discuss, or describe, they may be used during your examinations. So I want you to make sure that you understand those verbs very carefully so that you can answer the questions accordingly. Always pay attention to the marks allocated to each question and answer accordingly. So never leave any questions unanswered or blank. So most of you, even in your assignment, you leave a question unanswered or just blank like that without even putting anything. Please, I urge you, do not do the same in your examination. Try to answer the questions according to how you understand, but just by your own understanding, so that you can at least get something. Because if you leave the question blank, you might end up just get 0, even 0 out of 20 on that question. But I want you to try all your level best and answer the questions according to how you understand it. Revise your assignments and ask your tutor if you have any problem. I'm your tutor. Please feel free to contact me if you've got any question, as I have already given you my contact details. I said I can even repeat my cell phone number. I say contact me on 081 44 38 360, or you can still send me an email, which is at asholongera@unam.na. Please enjoy these modules and good luck with the assessments through assignments and examinations. That is part and parcel of your studies. Remember that perseverance is the hard work you do after you get tired of doing the hard work you already did. So we have come to the end of this presentation, or the end of our class today. All I want to say is all the best for your upcoming examination.